let's see. Adolfo Ferranda said, Chewy, sometimes online I hear black belts suggest train with intention. What exactly does that mean to you? I'm never really clear on what that means.
Train with intention. So we could change the word of intention with focus, right? So for instance, here's an example. And by the way, I don't think you should do this every class. I'll explain why. Let's say you go into the gym and you just go into the gym and you just go with the flow. You see what happens. I'm just training. We're just rolling and see what happens. Well, if you do that, it's not a bad thing, right? Because there's a time like where the gym can just be this place where you turn your brain off and you can just relax and just train and just have a good time and like unwind. But if you're trying to get better, you should really be thinking about like, what is my goal today? What kind of technique am I trying to hit? What kind of position am I trying to work on? That kind of idea. Like for instance, when I was, like when I asked Eugene, I said, hey, what am I working on right now? And he instantly said, you're working on back takes. He knows. That's what I've been working on. It's what I've been hitting on people. I've been working on back takes. A lot of different like really neat back takes. And I put together a kind of a cool seminar series for this year that I'm going to be doing with that, you know, like, cause I'm trying to sharpen my game of being a back hunter. That's what I consider myself on the mats. So again, my back takes is what I've been working on. So when I was out training in Montana, I was training with different people. I wanted to see how those back takes work. My intention was to step on the mat and try to take the back. That's what I was trying to do. I didn't do it to everybody because some people didn't give me the opportunities that I was looking for. Other people did, and work with it. So really, it's about having a focus. When you're stepping on the mat, that's what I think of when we say intention. It's about saying like, my intention is to work on this thing. Now, your intention could also be it could be more mindset related, not technical. So for instance, let's say you get into the gym and like back in the day when I was a white belt, I remember having noticing this thing where every time my guard would begin to get passed, I would start giving up. Like there would be like the two little guys. If you ever remember cartoons, little dudes would sit on the shoulder, the angel and the devil. One's like saying, what you should be doing. The other one's telling you the thing you probably shouldn't do. And I would have that kind of situation where there would be the one side of me saying, hey, keep going, don't give up. And the other side's going, hey man, your arms are getting tired. Why don't you just let them pass and you can submit and you can restart. And I remember noticing it. And for me, I felt like I was being weak. I didn't like it. So I noticed it and I said, the next time I roll, when those little two sides of my personality pop up, the weaker side of myself and the stronger side, I'm going to remind myself to take the stronger side's advice and I'm going to tell the other one to pipe down. And so I was ready for it. And so my intention that day when I was training and for a while was don't give up when they're passing, keep fighting. And so I did that and it made a big difference. And so those can be ideas of intention. Just stepping on the mat with some focus, something that you're actually trying to work on actively. And that would be what we say of when we're talking about intention. And at least in my eyes, that's what it means. Your coach or other black belts might have a different idea. But when I'm talking about intention, it's about stepping on the mat with something you are trying to work on and being very deliberate with your training, right? And that's the idea.
Yeah. It really helps you, developing technique, I think huge for that. Really helps you give some kind of, because you can kind of figure out what you're doing well and what you're not, problem solving, but you're going towards a goal and then you have little mini goals. And then I think it helps with motivation too if you struggle with like having direction or things to work on.
Yeah. So well, and it makes you better. Like, so there was a really cool book that I read years ago when I was becoming a new instructor. I started wanting to read up on books on how to make the training better and how to improve myself and everything else. And there was a book called Talent is Overrated. It was a book that was talking about one of the big ideas in it that the guy talked about was the idea of deliberate practice. So for instance, if a musician, they were talking about these world-class musicians. Let's say the musician had this song that they were trying to perform. Let's say they're playing on a piano or violin or something. Well, when they would come to a part that was very difficult for them, maybe there was a part of it that was very complicated in the way their fingers needed to move or whatever it is. Instead of just playing the song over and over and over again from start to finish, what would they do? They would start to play that particular area that they were having trouble with. They were trying to deliberately fix that problem. Now it was boring because they're no longer able to just play. Now they're just doing something that's incredibly repetitive because it's the same stuff over and over again. But the benefit is later on, they won't have trouble with that area. The way that I would do this in training, now I do this with my students as a means to manually make this happen. So let's say with my students, if we are working on a particular position, let's say we're working on back mount. I'm teaching them some back mount submissions and stuff, and I'm teaching them how to escape back mount. If I allow them to roll, there's a good chance that most of those people are not going to end up in back mount. It's just not going to happen. But if I put them in back mount, I'm now going to put them into a position where they now have a chance to work on that area deliberately. Like a lot of times we'll do rolls where I'll say, okay, guys, we're going to start in back mount. If you escape, reset, go back to the position. If the other person is able to submit you, reset, do it again, and then we'll switch front to back. I'll even then put in other scenarios where I'll say, okay, the person cannot escape. All you can do is defend. So you can defend, but you can't escape. So basically the other person has a dummy that they can literally just try to choke or submit. And the other person is just trying to work on their survival ability, right? Now, what does that do? That allows the person to say, okay, I don't have any options. The only thing I can do is survive. So let's see how long I can survive. And then it lets the other person say, you don't have to worry about this person escaping. Try to submit them. How well can you break down their defenses and submit them? And so what I'm allowing them to do is work in a very small fraction deliberately to make that area better. And so that's the idea. And so you can do this sometimes if you don't have your own training where you just step on the mat, you're going to say like, look, like for instance, one of the ways that I got better with my side control escapes is I would like roll with people and I wouldn't tell them, but I would let them pass my guard. And then when they would pass, I would escape. I'm getting reps in. You know, when I'm rolling with people, if I have something I'm working on, I work on that thing very deliberately. I'll try to put myself in the position. And so again, that's kind of an idea for you there. It's like, that's, you know, again, kind of going back to that deliberate practice. And so kind of goes back to intention, goes back to all that stuff. But again, having that deliberate focus of what you're doing rather than just kind of, all right, let's roll and just see what happens. You know?
Yeah.